The following is a fan-based discussion. All properties discussed are property of Toei Inc., Bandai, Hasbro, and Subarai Productions. Hello everyone! Welcome back to a new episode of Tokutalk. Marcus and Jacob here to discuss secret identities, or lack thereof. Or why are you here?
This is going to be very ultra heavy today, something tells me. So, yeah.
So where would you like to begin?
Let's talk about the show that we just finished.
Decker.
Yeah. Why? It didn't make sense half of the time why he had a secret identity.
Mm-hmm.
Considering the fact that, I mean, you had Trigger, and I know they didn't always view Trigger in the most glamorous of light, considering the fact that Trigger Dark existed.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have regular Trigger fighting against Trigger Dark. And this one Trigger has just been helping you pretty much this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think in Decker's case, because that all happened 7 years earlier, Ultras are widely known. Mm-hmm. They knew about Trigger. They knew all the good that he did. After a little bit, you spent a year with these people, training with them and everything, between the time that you got Decker and this, and Hanajiro knew fairly early. You'd think that it would be a good idea to at least tell your team.
Yeah. Because it's always like... Because Kanata is the one who flies the plane. He flies their fighter jet, and the little robot dude flies the other one. And the robot dude knows. He finds out almost immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, keep it a secret. Why? Just have the other guy fly the jet and have you be Ultraman. It doesn't make any sense as to why you need to keep this a secret.
Especially because Hanajiro can fly it.
It didn't trigger. It didn't make any sense either. Because every time it seems like it just makes the other person seem incompetent as being a Guts member or Guys member, or whatever it is that they are. If no one knows that they're an Ultra, because it happens and it's like, well, thank God Ultraman saved me, or I would have been in deep trouble. I was over there.
And it's really been a thing since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I even think of some of the shows, just from watching an episode or two here or there. It's just like something usually happens first. Like the plane goes down that they're in,
Mm-hmm.
they get grounded, and then the team can't get to them fast enough, and so they don't hear from them, and they think they're like unconscious or something.
Mm-hmm.
Which
multiple times it seems.
Multiple times, and then the Ultraman shows up out of nowhere. So they usually end up getting distracted by fighting the monster. I can sort of get that here, but in Decker's case, it happens. I got hit once, Ultra.
Ow! Ultra!
And I'm just saying, like,
more or less.
Also, you're running down the street every once in a while transforming. Somebody is going to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Decker! What was that?
He just yelled Decker, and then Decker appeared. Wait a minute.
It's like, oh, he just went down. And Decker's coming up. From the exact place that he went down.
Wait a minute.
Like, we're getting a real Steve Urkel Stefan sort of situation out here. It is getting a little bit... I understand, you got to suspend your disbelief. But...
it can only be stretched so far.
Yeah, come on. It sort of stops making sense why they're hiding this from the team that they're working with. Like, I can sort of get it in Mebius's case. Because if you remember at the very beginning of Mebius, the entire team goes up and dies.
Yeah.
And he's the only one who ends up making it back.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not human, so I can understand why he's just like, maybe I shouldn't tell the people.
Yeah.
I'm an alien.
The host body that he took was that of a dead person.
Yeah.
So.
Jeed, I mean, he sort of got away with it because it was really just Laiha. And then...
Laiha and Pico, I think was his name.
Yeah, and then you also had Zero after a little bit. So it's just like, we have a whole team of Ultras, and then he doesn't tell the people who are sort of fighting against aliens. I want to go back and rewatch Jeed.
I would too. Great show. Great show.
Great show. But you also end up having the team that are sort of fighting against aliens, so I can understand why he didn't tell them. Mm-hmm. But at least he had like a much wider network of people who knew.
At least like have like some people that you can keep it in confidence with.
Yeah.
In Decker, yeah, he had the robot. But the fact that it's like he promised, it's like, no, don't tell anyone because reasons.
Yeah, I can sort of
despite
understand.
the fact that I think if they knew, it would make things easier.
Like, in the Power Rangers case, at least for MMPR, you know, they were fighting against somebody. If Rita found out who they were, she would have attacked their families.
Yeah.
The comics has sort of gone a little bit into this. But at the same time, it doesn't always work. Not everybody can have the Superman thing where they, I have to protect these people and people will attack them trying to get to me.
Superman, it's Spider-Man, it's a lot of heroes.
Yeah. I just don't think it works as well in Decker because the loop is closed.
Also true.
Like
and that's one of the reasons that we see a lot of Sentai, they know who each other are.
Yeah.
And, because, you go back to Go Ranger where they are secret government agents who have been recruited for a top secret special ops squad.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they go into the bar and they each put their little emblem piece down and they all click them together and it's like, all right, we know who we are. Let's go into the secret room in the back.
Lightspeed Rescue has sort of the same thing. They all get recruited from outside, of the place that was doing most of the fighting.
You know what show did it really good recently, I think?
What?
Dawn Brothers.
Yeah.
Dawn Brothers did this fantastic. Because because of the way that they are just summoned to the fight immediately. It's like the gun just appears. It henshins them for themselves. Like they don't actually do anything, and then they just get teleported to where the Hitotsuki and the whatever's going on.
Yeah.
Momotaro's usually already there.
Or comes in.
He comes in late. He comes in, whenever fate dictates that he be there.
Or whenever his entourage gets together.
Mm-hmm. And some of them, their proportions are all changed, because you have Inu brother and Kichi brother, who are very tall and a little Sonic character, so they look completely different from when they are in their human guys. You can't really tell, there's no way to know who they would be under the mask.
Unless you're Don Torbolt or Don Dorogoku or Jiro, and you're just it's obviously him. What?
Because you just know.
Sometimes you have the secret identities where it would be a real detriment to what the heroes are trying to do. I'm looking at Lupat sort of specifically here.
Yeah.
Because they would have tried to stop them.
I think it's the first or second episode. The Pata Rangers go into the cafe.
Yeah, that's the end of the first episode.
End of the first episode, and I think Lupin Blue is just like, all right, let's just ready to crack his knuckles and just start snapping their necks right there while they're sitting down having coffee. He's like, we can eliminate them right here, and Red is like, no. We are gentlemen thieves. There is a way we do things.
47 episodes before we had to reveal ourselves in episode 48. So.
And but again, I think Dawn Brothers did this great with revealing it to certain characters in piecemeal.
Yeah,
because you have Oni sister and
Kiji brother first.
Yes, and also what's the
Zara brother?
Zara brother, thank you. The two of them know, and then we're offering following them together in their human guises, and then we have what's his name? Inu brother is off. He's doing his own thing because he's a fugitive. He's hiding from the police, and his identity has to be kept a secret for plot reasons that I think are justified.
Yeah.
And then I think another to a comedic effect. I think it was done pretty well in Kyoryuger actually. Where I think it's the first episode where
they don't want to know each other.
Where they don't. It's like maybe we should keep our identities a secret. And King is like, oh hell no! Unhenshins right in front of him. He's like, this is who I am. Now you all take off your masks as well. And I thought that was pretty funny.
We don't have time for the BS. I think it's a little bit hard to do this in Sentai and Rider. I specifically sort of want to talk about Cougar and Agito here.
Okay.
Cougar and Agito, they're too connected, especially in Cougar's case where he's labeled unidentified form number 4, I believe. And he's thought to be a bad guy, and only one person, the detective, knows who he is. They end up working together more often than not, and that's Cougar's sort of end. As long as Cougar was a good guy, there was no reason for them to really try to come after him outside of sort of abject fear. So his identity sort of got kept secret sort of through, not so much like in the case of Decker where he just didn't want to tell people. It was more of, I have a very explicit reason not to tell anybody because the police will come after me.
Right.
And I don't want that. That's hassle. I don't need that in my life. That's called negativity.
Speaking of negativity, Garo. Garo is the Dark Knight who is, a creature of the night who speaks to no one except for those within his organization are usually the only people who he ever consorts with.
Yeah.
He'll have his
Butler.
The Makai priestess, the butler, the person in charge of the temple giving him missions and whatnot. But aside from that, we don't really see him interact with the outside world.
Yeah. The only reason we know he's the main character is because of the clothes and hair.
Mm.
He's got full-on Yu-Gi-Oh! Syndrome. I wonder which one was the main character.
Could be any of them. I don't know.
Who knows? Is it you, Blonde Guy? Blonde Guy number 4? Oh, that's Joey. He's over here talking about Cougar. Just keep saying it. We can't stop it.
Or is it the one with the big spiky black, purple, green highlights or whatever it is?
What about the guy with the motorcycle? Enough about 5Ds. Yeah, I don't... it really doesn't, depending on how the show ends up handling it. I just don't think it's absolutely necessary when you have a scientific team, unless they're like legitimately talking about dissecting you or something like that. I can see why you wouldn't say anything there.
Mm-hmm.
But after a little while, I don't think you should keep it a secret until the very end of the show.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. If it's like you're really chummy with the scientist on your team and you constantly hear them say, "Oh, I can't wait for us to defeat that Ultra so I can cut him open on the slab and see how he works," then you could be forgiven for wanting to reserve yourself.
Yeah. I just don't think it's a good idea to do it especially if the person that you're fighting against is not sentient. Or has there's no benefit to them.
Is like a mindless monster.
Yeah.
Well, mindless in the sense that like they don't have the sentience to like point to you and go like. Yeah. But that, or if it's just like some sort of nebulous entity, or if it's an AI or a machine or something that just is out for destruction and cares not for breaking down human walls, then walls of the mind, shall we say? Then yeah, there's no need for it.
Not at all. That was Decker's issue.
Among many.
And Dinah's, I guess. The Sphere aren't really something that are worried about just you. Mm-hmm. They want to get you out of the way, yeah. But they don't... from what we saw, there was no real benefit of just, like, kidnapping somebody.
No, because they're all about smashing things on a big scale.
Yeah, they're going after the entire world. You don't mean that much in your secret identity. They want to get rid of you because you are in their way. But... your family is not there. They don't really know anything about, I guess, humans. So why would they try to go after anybody with what's the word I'm looking for? Like a
with emotional ties of some kind.
Yeah, with emotional ties of some kind, because they might not process that the same way. Mm-hmm. So it just stopped making sense in Decker, and it bothered me so much. That's sort of where this idea came from. Who came up with this, because we actually got this on our Discord. Crazy Orb. Because we had talked about it just in the Ultra channel, and we were just like, why? it doesn't make sense.
No, and I think we can stop there, unless you have anything else to add.
Yeah. I just think if you're going to have a secret identity, this is something I'm specifically talking to the writers and director here for. You got to make it worthwhile to have that identity be kept a secret. Mm. If it ain't, tell everybody. Tell your mama. Tell your grandma. There's just no point in keeping a secret if no one is actively going to get hurt in any situation. Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Join us next time, then.
Let us know what you think about secret identities in the comments below.
Please do.
Do you think it's necessary? Do you think it just ends up depending on what the situation is? Let us know. Don't forget to join us on all the things. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.